Right, so we are in conversation with Mr. S. Sivakumar, the Chief Executive of ITC's Agri Division. So welcome back to the show. We discussed the GST, the monsoons, etc. But talking about the subject at hand, the launch of MasterChef prawns, just a sense of ITC's motivations with respect to the domestic market. ITC has been a strong player in terms of exports, from what I understand. Last 45 years exporting to Japan, to Europe. Just a sense now that there seems to be a role reversal in terms of the markets that you're targeting. So to put it quite concisely, why India and why now?
You know, there are three different angles to the whole thing. One is, like you already mentioned, ITC has been exporting prawns for over 45 years across the world, prominently the United States and European markets and Japan. Very stringent product hygiene standards and quality. And over time, as we saw, that each of them are focusing on different elements in terms of microbiological standards, in terms of your antibiotic tolerance limits, in terms of heavy metals when it comes to, for example, Indian food safety standards and so on. And when we saw that when you do it exhaustively, you can deliver global hygiene standards in India when Indian consumer is slowly now getting ready and can afford to look at these kind of products. And as many as 243 tests get a global product into Indian consumer. So that is one aspect. We saw that these experience that you can put behind and assure a super safe product, which is what ITC MasterChef stood for when we first launched the super safe spices. So continuing with that, we said this is one angle that we can bring through prawns also.
Fair enough. I'll take your word up on that. I will consult the MasterChef. But sir, going forward, as far as the domestic market is concerned, this is still an area that we're seeing a lot of activity in. There's a lot of evolution happening in this market. Just a sense, sir, as far as the market size is concerned and the kind of figures that you're hoping to realize going forward in this market, that's the frozen food, processed food market.
Now, when you ask a question like this, immediately what strikes my mind is the ITC Ashirwad story. When we came in with Ashirwad branded atta, now 15 years ago, there were many brands, the who is who of global leaders, local leaders, and everybody. But the packaged branded atta consumption of the total atta consumption was a small fraction.
Okay.
Now, you could look at market as saying that here is 300 crores of packaged prawn market. What share can I get out of that? But the real market is not that. Now, there is a much larger 7,000 crore fresh consumption market in prawns.
That's the unorganized market.
That is fresh, you just catch and bring it, but fresh is a misnomer.
Okay.
It's caught somewhere, then it's brought to a market, then from there it's then brought to a city like Delhi, and then by the time it is more than 72 hours. I talked about freeze it within 15 hours to retain its freshness. No, forget about it. It takes 72 hours for what is called a fresh to come to the market.
Okay.
So idea is that with that market, when you are able to actually communicate to the consumer that frozen, of course from right source, where you source, how quickly you freeze and so on, is far superior to even fresh, both from a hygiene standard perspective as well as retention of its softness.
So if I understand you correctly, you're looking to go beyond just the conventional organized market to targeting the unorganized market itself, which, as per your estimates, is pegged at 8,000 crores.
And then there's a third layer, which is many households think they relish prawn, but prawn is very difficult to cook at home. Now, the convenience of a packaged prawn, as brought by ITC MasterChef with every other thing, the freshness completely locked in and brought, opens up the third layer also. So idea is what it is at this point of time, one would see that, okay, if the competition has in a very conventional sense, many of them actually export reject is what is brought into the Indian market.
Okay.
But we are bringing best of the global 243 tests, like I said. So therefore, there is a market share that you would aim here, but that's not the end goal.
Right.
It's really getting into the next layer, which is the fresh market, so-called fresh, and then also getting convenience to bring a cooking solution to home. I think as to where we will end, it really the next 6 months will tell us in terms of how much we are able to penetrate into each of these markets, and as we adjust our communication.
Right, so if I understand you correctly, you're looking to change the industry dynamics itself, to look at these various three layers to be specific. But if one were to look at the total market size, which I believe you've pegged at 8,000 crores, any internal figures that you're perhaps running with, that a figure that you hope to realize in terms of capturing a certain percentage of that market share come perhaps the next fiscal?
No, see, if you ask our marketing team, they would put some number, but I won't accept that. And that's why I'm not even quoting a number, lest that become a target for them. Because I think you're trying to break through something which doesn't exist.
Right.
That's an opportunity.
Right.
So I think that's why I refer to ITC Ashirwad story.
Right.
Today's ITC Ashirwad sales is many multiples larger than all brands put together what it was when we launched it.
True.
So I think obviously when you say some number like that, again, it kind of puts people, where is this number going to be? So therefore, I'm not taking the number just now. But I think the dynamic is this, 6 months from now, let's see in terms of what part of it we are able to crack. And then we'll have some numbers.
Cautiously optimistic, sir. One final question. This one, of course, looking at it from a larger perspective, the big figure that ITC has put out has been the 1 lakh crore figure. An ambitious target, but a target nonetheless for 2030. As far as the food processing aspect is concerned, as far as the agri-business is concerned, what percentage of that will this division contribute going forward? This is, as you point out, you're looking to change the dynamics. But what percentage of that figure are you looking, will the agri division represent going forward?
So this 1 lakh crores in the first instance is the turnover you're hoping for the FMCG business. And agri-business contribution is really in threefold for all of this. So one is in terms of sourcing identity preserved raw material from the agricultural sector in order to offer that consumer value proposition for the foods is one activity. And the second is opening up a number of other areas which are extremely small at this point of time, but otherwise very large consumption markets. The products like prawns and other perishables that we talked about. That is another segment. And potentially using the rural infrastructure that we have in the form of e-Chowpal and that ecosystem to communicate to rural consumers also many of these kind of products and reach them out as those markets develop. In that sense, the consumer end in some of the rural markets, supplementing trade marketing and distribution. So that's the kind of a role agribusiness will play with respect to this 1 lakh crores. And if you just carve out this bit of perishables and all that, we certainly see that there's an opportunity to as much as 10% out of the total for this bit. And besides this, to build an economy of scale and scope, agribusiness engaged in sourcing also for many other customers. So to that degree, that number is beyond this 1 lakh crores.
Fair enough, sir. Really appreciate the time that you shared with us, and we wish you all the best going forward with your latest initiative.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.